to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first thing that we'll be doing tonight, before we get to our regular meeting, is a bond project hearing meeting. I'll now call that to order. First item is the statement of purpose of the hearing. That is me. The next, so if you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed up. I don't have anyone that has signed, is that correct?
I don't have any.
Okay. After the presentation, administrators and advisors will have an opportunity for the public to make comments about the projects at the specific hearing. We will ask each person to limit their comments to 3 minutes. At this time, I will ask Superintendent to explain the purpose of the hearing.
Okay, or the projects are what right? Okay. So we have a couple of different projects that we are looking at for several different reasons. So one of those projects is at the junior senior high. We're looking at an auditorium renovation. We have tried to get that accomplished for several years and have not been able to, so using bond funds to do that would make that happen. We are also looking at a new cafeteria because the current cafeteria is not meeting our needs. It also has some structural issues that would cost quite a bit to take care of, so it's going to be fine to build a new cafeteria there at junior senior high. And then also we would be looking at an office addition remodel in order to put in a secure entrance and to create an office environment that functions better for both staff and students. We also have a second bond then, that is the Wookett Mills Lakeland Primary School, and then a maintenance project. So at Wookett Mills, we are looking at playground equipment and partial roofing. The playground equipment at Wookett Mills is, to say the least, old and probably not ideal for preschool students. So we had removed some things that we thought were too dangerous for the preschool kids, and we would like to get that replaced with equipment that would be appropriate for their needs. And we had two companies that have done studies of our buildings, and both companies have said that the roofing at Wookett Mills is in need of replacing. So we would like to do part of that project at this time with the bond money. At the primary school, we would look at finishing the HVAC and room refreshes that we started with the last bond project. That would involve the second grade rooms and the specials rooms, like the art room, the library, all of those. That would give us a better environment for our students to work and learn in. We would also be looking at some office remodel in order to have a secure entry point there also. And then we would also be looking at some playground equipment at the primary school. Their equipment on the kindergarten playground is really past its lifetime. The big giant frog, believe it or not, is old enough that it needs to be looked at being replaced. And then we have a lot of equipment in the first and second grade area that needs replaced also. So we would look at making that safer. The final part of the bond project would be a maintenance barn. The reasons behind that: right now we have equipment that we are leaving outside because we don't have enough storage space to keep it inside. So we would like to stop rotating it outside by season so that we're taking better care of our equipment. There's no hot water in our maintenance barns. In order for them to care for equipment, they need that to clean out several of the things that they use, and also for the efficiency of the department. We have items stored in different places throughout our campuses, so they are constantly having to run one place or the other. Our plan would be to use the current barn, repurpose that for a delivery staging area and then storage. So that is the reasons and the scope of the projects.
And I did want to follow up or say before we go any further that per Indiana Code 2026-737, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build or repair or alter a school building that will be financed by bonds, it must hold this public hearing, and that is why we're doing this. I believe now we will hear from underwriter.
Does it matter where I stand here? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Good evening, Luke Brookman with Steeple. We serve as bond underwriter for the school corporation. Our role here at this hearing is really just to show what the financial impact is, how we were going to structure this bond issue, and layer this in on top of your current debt service payments. So if you go to the first slide, this is the school corporation's outstanding debt payments. You'll see that's really 4 or 5 bond issues that are made up, with some debt dropping off from 28 to 29, and again out in from 2037 to 2038 as some bonds retire. If you flip to the next page, this is the current debt service levy. Really what this is the levy is a function of the debt service payments, factoring in some miscellaneous revenue that the school receipts into the debt service fund, and also the cash that you have on hand. And ultimately that's the dollar amount of the ask in the debt service fund to the community. You go to the next slide. So this is going to be starting with the Lakeland Junior Senior High School project. This would be for $6.6 million. That's highlighted in blue here on what this structure would look like. You'll see that we would plan to close on the bonds by the end of 2025, get a levy in place beginning in 2026, leaving capacity for additional projects down the road, and really kind of keeping a similar footprint 27 and beyond of what it is currently. So what makes up that 6.6 million? 160,000 would go to pay cost of issuance, professional fees, and the remaining goes to for the hard and soft project costs. So that's 6,440,000. So a total of 6.6 million. On the next slide here is the maximum legal parameters. Again, these will be in the resolutions tonight. The first 3 rows of what was on the previous page. That's a borrowing amount of 6.6 million, professional fees of 160,000. Leaving estimated proceeds available for the project of 6.44 million. Estimated interest rate range of 2 to 6%. This is just the first step in the legal process. If you sold the bonds today, you're at around a 4 to 4.25. So we do feel like we've been conservative with all of these numbers. The maximum final maturity is 20 years. That's the maximum that Indiana schools are allowed to go. So you'll see January 15, 2045 listed there. The maximum tax rate impact of 0.1690. However, that does not account for any debt falling off that we showed on the previous page. When you do factor that in, that's a tax increase over the 25 debt service fund rate of 0.1398. These numbers are going to look really similar from this project to Project B. We'll walk through the tax impact here at the end. The second project here is the LPS, WME, and the maintenance barn. You'll see the estimated breakdown here that Dr. Blaze walked through. Of course, this may change a little bit as you start getting bids in, but the maximum borrowing amount would be $5,435,000 for Project B. $135,000 of that would be to pay cost of issuance. You'll see the additional breakdown there between the 2 different schools and the maintenance barn. I won't walk through each one of those, but that's all highlighted there. So layering in Project B here, the $5,435,000. Again, you'll see closing on the bonds in 2025, hitting that levy beginning in 2026, but also making sure that we're leaving the school corporation some borrowing capacity beginning in 2027. We know that this is going to tackle a lot of the capital needs that are in the district, but also it's not going to take care of all of the needs that come up with the school district over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So our goal is to structure this in a manner to set the school corporation up that going forward we can fund projects on a tax neutral basis. And you'll see that really highlighted here in this chart. Last slide here, the maximum legal parameters. Again, par amount of the bonds, $5,435,000. That was all seen in the pie chart a couple pages ago. Professional fees of $135,000. Leaving hard and soft project costs available for $5,330,000, which again, that breakdown was on a couple pages ago with that pie chart. Same thing here with the estimated interest rate and max impact and the net tax rate increase. You'll see that's very similar from the prior slide. So ultimately, what does that mean for the average taxpayer in Lakeland schools? So right now, the school corporation has a debt service rate of just over 9 cents. It's the 7th lowest out of 290 school districts in the state. Of the 6 that are lower than Lakeland schools, 3 of those actually have an operating referendum. So while this is an increase, you'll see the impact here. The gross assessed value, that's the assessed value of the home. The average home, according to most recent Census Bureau data in your district, is $196,900. That's that third row there. I'm going to focus on that one, but again, you can see the change for what the differing home values are. So the gross assessed value of $196,900, they receive a standard supplemental deduction, and ultimately their taxable value or net assessed value is $89,340. So the tax impact on an annual basis from going from those 9 cents to just over 23 cents due to this project is $124.90 annually, or about $10.41 per month. And again, you'll see the 1 acre of farmland there and commercial property as well. But that's a lot I have. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board or administration.
Is there any questions? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. At this time, we would normally open the meeting up for public comments. I had no one that signed anything, so I don't have anything. We'll move forward with the board to consideration for the project resolution for the junior senior high. And I will read that. The Lakeland Junior Senior High project resolution is required when school is planning to spend more than $1 million at this facility. It contains the estimated hard and soft construction costs and costs of issuance and establishes Lakeland Junior Senior High project cost. It also contains the estimated tax impact. Could I have a motion and a second to adopt Lakeland Junior Senior High project resolution? So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor? None opposed? Motion of the resolution carries. We'll move to the Wolcott Mills now. It is the very same verbiage from Wolcott Mills / Lakeland Primary School project is also required when planning to spend more than $1 million. It also contains the estimated tax impact. Could I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution for the Wolcott Mills Lakeland Primary School project?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Does that include the maintenance too?
Yes, it does.
It's part of that project.
I'm probably the lone wolf here, but I'm a little bit concerned as I'm totally in favor of the cafeteria. I'm totally in favor of the Wolcott Mills roof and the playground equipment. I question the maintenance building and the timing of that.
I think it's all wrapped into the bond, if I'm understanding.
It is.
Well, it is, but I can't vote yes on the Wolcott Mills and no on the maintenance. Because of the way it's written.
Why would you want to, what are your concerns about the maintenance building?
Well, I'm concerned whether we really need it, and I'm concerned about how it looks in the public.
I think from what I understand structurally, like we're in desperate need of a place to keep our equipment well.
Yes.
Better than it's being kept currently, and not divide it into multiple smaller spaces, is that right?
Yes, so we have things, there's a barn at LPS that has some maintenance equipment in it, there's the barn here, we have garages at each building that have things in it, so they're very spread out. We don't have a place where we can store things appropriately. We buy paper in bulk in order to save money, and that's kept in the maintenance barn, which then means they don't have room for their equipment. So we are trying to make it so that that department can be more efficient, and also our equipment can be kept longer in better shape.
They actually reached out to local farmers to try to find a place to store our equipment, so it didn't have to sit outside, and apparently anyone they reached out to said they didn't have the space, so it didn't want to accommodate us. So I know that was another, try to get our equipment indoors and put away, but obviously would be a, kind of a logistical nightmare to drive to someone else's private residence to get stuff out of their barn. Not ideal for a school
The other
corporation.
thing we'll let us do is the big eyesore of, like, we have the rock sitting out there, we have a big argument where we're gonna put the salt every year. We got a situation where we have that diesel, tank sitting right out there, right by the school, at the entrance of the football field, that would move as well.
And we got dump trailers.
Dump
and
trailers and
trucks,
stuff like that, so,
trailers.
and the inside of the building needs a lot of attention, the outside will need some attention, so we can use it not just for storage for bulk and shipping, we can also use it for a little bit more room for athletics like tennis and track and so forth, so they don't have to use the concession stands as much. So it's been something I've been on the board for 6 years, and we've been talking about it for a little while, off and on. And I think if we're gonna do it in a bond, at the taxpayers less impact now than down the road. If we have to do it and something happens, then we're gonna be stuck in a rock and a hard place.
And I would also remind everyone that the bond money cannot be used for salaries and compensation for anyone. So this is
That would
strictly
have to
for
be an
projects.
operational referendum.
Correct. This is strictly projects, and this is the way that Lakeland has gotten their major projects done over the years.
I
So-
understand all that. I've been on the board a while.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain that for the public, that it's different.
We understand that. The people that are here tonight probably understand it, but the majority of people that are gonna be looking at all of this happening are not gonna understand that.
Or we could do a referendum, and then we still do the maintenance building under some other thing, and people look at it and say, you used money for the referendum for that.
Is there any more discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to that is it, right? That is closed. So, no, we have the reimbursement resolution. Where is that one? Oh, the next resolution is a reimbursement resolution related to finance and construction project. This resolution permits the school corporation to reimburse itself from bond proceeds for any cash which it might spend on the projects prior to closing on the bonds. It is required by federal law in order to preserve the school corporation's ability to reimburse itself. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries, none opposed. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the project bond hearing. So moved.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Excellent, thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. Okay, now on to our regular scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll call this meeting to order. And there are no considerations of agenda additions or deletions. At this time, invitations to members of the audience to speak to items on the agenda. I have this here, I'll let the LEA speak at item number 1 of new business. Okay.
Sounds good.
Communications, we have none, and budget presentation.
Okay. All right. I won't go too deep into the weeds tonight. I'll try to, not to anyway. So just a quick review of the different funds that are part of the budget. The first one is the rainy day fund, and that is kind of your savings account. So that we use that for projects, keep money back for projects. And that money, we put money into there usually from anything that we kind of have left over in the operations budget at the end of the year. We feel we could spare and put into there. Hoping this year, with your approval of putting maybe the sale of Lima Brighton money into that fund. That's kind of where I'm thinking it's going. Anyway, and then onto the debt service, and that is really just the money we use to pay out the bonds that we just spoke about. That money is put in there through tax revenue, so that's collected through your property taxes. The education fund is what it sounds like. It's paying all your salary and benefits and things for your teachers and paraprofessionals, our principals, things of that nature. Anybody that's directly tied to education. There's some supplies and other things in that fund as well. And that is supported through different tax revenues and mostly supported through the state tuition that we receive. That this year, we are seeing a very slight increase, less than 1% increase over last year. You have $112,200 over last year is what our expected balance or increases on that. And I do have to talk about the notes of interest in that as well, that they took out they're not giving us additional money for curricular materials, which is now paid out of our education budget. So really, we're going to see a loss, really, when it comes down to it in our ed fund. We were getting $232,000 last year. I got extra on top of my ed fund money for curricular materials, and that is now just tied into my state tuition. So you can do the math real quick. That's $100,000 loss ish around there. And so I'm also allowed out of that to transfer money then to the operations fund of up to 15% of our state aid tuition, which is $1.9 million. We transfer nowhere near that. In fact, my budget next year is only $750,000, which is a lot less even than previous years. And it's due to a lot of those losses. Another loss to our ed fund is our LIT money. So LIT is our local income taxes. They are taking that away in 28 from us. So to start working on trying to look at our spending and things like that into our ed fund, I have moved that LIT money for next year into operations. I'm trying to do without it completely, which means I'm using that LIT money now for the next 2 years for projects that will be done throughout the district. So trying to do without it the best we can. That way we're not counting on it, for raises and things like that.
Because it's reverting back to the county.
Yes.
So the county will control it, and they can determine whether or not they would like to give any of it to the schools. But the county also has a very long project list, so I don't anticipate them giving money.
They're seeing property tax losses like we are as well. Yeah, so that's going to be a way for them to kind of recover some of that property tax loss. But unfortunately for us, we're at the mercy then of the county if we get any of it back. So I'm hoping they'll give us some, but I'm not counting on it. I know I'm full of all kinds of good news tonight. So much good news. All right, and then we have our operations fund, which I've already touched on a little bit, but that's used for salary and benefits of non-instructional staff. It's used for repairs, maintenance, equipment, supplies, and transportation. The revenue from that comes from property taxes, the small transfer from the education fund, and some miscellaneous state and county taxes. So our growth this year, again, was a 4%. We were allowed to do that. So 4% of last year's levy, I could grow at 4%. So I, of course, took the full 4%. Our tax base for this next year is also increased 3.1%. So that went from $1,343,269,537. That's what it's going to be for 26. Trying to think. Oh yeah, and then due to the changes in SE1, so that's where I was talking about. I think you guys are all pretty well aware of the changes in SEA1. So our property tax cap loss has gone from around $45,000 a year to $275,000 next year. Yeah. That's a huge chunk of money now gone that because of all the changes to taxes that they've done. So basically they're, taking what amount we can tax people on, or your assessed value, they're bringing that down, and they're going to step that down every year. So we're going to continue to see big cap losses like that as the years progress. So yeah. Trying to think anything else I need to talk about.
The unfortunate thing about that is the individual homeowner is really not gonna see that, much of that either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I've heard some grumblings that they may have realized they've gone a little too far. So
Yeah.
we'll see if I'm
think-
hoping maybe in the short session this next year, there'll be some changes to that Senate Enrolled Act 1. So
but we can't bank on that.
right. So yeah, I'm not banking on anything changing because
Yeah.
I don't want to set us up for failure. So yeah, it was not a fun time doing the budget this year at all. But so my tax rate was a little bit different when I plugged all the numbers into this DLGF, than slightly different. We're talking like a couple cents different from what Luke had. So I'm gonna on the debt service fund anyway. So I'm gonna meet up with Luke and we're gonna go over that and make sure things are in the right place. Because I was like, wait a
Couple
second.
cents off.
Yeah, it was a couple of cents. Like numbers were a little higher than what the DLGF said ours should be. So I want to see where he's pulling his numbers and stuff too on the debt service. And then so I have us advertising a tax rate for the debt service fund of 0.2184.
What did he have?
He had 0.23 something.
Almost, I mean, it's
Yeah.
close, pretty close.
We're close. And then for the I'm doing an advertising rate for the operations fund of 0.4844. So I'm expecting it to be less because I always advertise higher. I think we've talked about that before. Advertising like higher because I can't. If I whatever I advertise, I can't go any higher than that rate. So if it comes in, trying to save us, make sure we get all our money. But yeah, I'm gonna follow up with Luke on the debt service fund because I'm a little bit like trying to figure out where he got his number. I just want to make sure. So before I advertise, because I will advertise this 10 days before the hearing in October, our official hearing. So I will double check with him on that. So those are pretty much all of my notes so far on that. Then underneath, I showed you guys where the DLGF form then, so you guys can kind of see the breakdown of all of that a little bit better. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out. We can go over stuff.
We didn't know if the board would be interested in holding a special meeting that was a workshop meeting just for budget. Isn't something we've done in the past, but it is something that we could do if you were interested.
We want to get a little bit more deeper in the weeds altogether.
Yeah,
Kinda.
we've done it on an individual basis in years past, but is the board interested in that?
I think with all the changes,
That's
I
good.
would suggest, yeah.
Okay, so.
So you guys understand it. 'Cause some people are asking you what's going on.
It's a good summarization, but it's be good to get, so
Yeah.
we'll need to schedule an executive session for that. So,
And it could be executive, or you could do a public workshop if you wanted, because the budget is public information, so.
Yeah.
It
So-
can go either way.
You guys can talk
well, we can talk
decide,
about that.
talk about it, and decide what you want to do.
14%. Depressed.
I was depressed and sick during this
Yeah.
budget. I'm not gonna lie, it was really depressing. All the cuts and stuff. I mean, it was just like, even you're working through the numbers, just because even our other taxes, our miscellaneous taxes that are smaller amounts, we're seeing cuts to those too. So, yeah,
Well, and then you just heard that we didn't get the grant for the second SRO
yeah,
as well. Right?
Yeah.
Just another.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I know.
Is still funded.
Yeah,
Very good.
we still get to keep ours.
That's great news.
Right?
Is there any more budget questions? No. All right, moving on to reports.
Okay, just my reports. I will do a Lakeland by the numbers, a little update on the work to learn program, and then a Lima sale update. There's really not much of an update there. So I'm gonna skip down to the learn to work program first. We had a meeting today on that, and yesterday I had a different meeting on that. So we are in the design phase. I'll remind you, we were fully funded through the Don Wood Foundation to start this program, so they are fully funding the remodel of the classrooms that we're going to be using at LIS, 1 year of an instructor, and all of the equipment, which is about $300,000 in equipment.
We got
So-
all that grant, didn't we?
we did, $854,000. So we're in the process of planning out what that equipment will be, where it'll be located. We're working with Faber Design to design the room itself. Today, we have also been approached by West Noble that if there were any openings in the program, once we do get it open, if we don't fill all our seats between the 3 districts involved, that West Noble would be interested in sending students to us too. Destination Corporation. So pretty excited about that. Lima sale, I don't have much to update you on. Their bank had some questions about the land that we had sold already. So they wanted to get some other plottings of it to make sure that they knew exactly what they were purchasing. So our attorney has given that to them, but I still do not have a date as to when that sale will be finalized.
Or until it'll be closed.
Right.
Until we do the closing.
Right. So this is the enrollment by the numbers that I give you each month. I think I forgot to change the date at the top though. I did it on Monday, so it should be Monday's date. This is where we stand. So it isn't unusual for us to have a drop from August to September because in August we have all our students on the enrollment and those students that have moved, we don't know that until we get records requests. So we do often have a drop in from August to September. So we are currently at 1,412 students, which is still above what I had predicted based on our kindergarten and our graduates last year. So we're still above where we were. So looks like I forgot to change this number too. My goodness. So the difference month over month is 32 students, and compared to the end of 24-25, we're down 21 students. But my prediction was we'd be down 30. So yay. Not down 30. And that is all I had to report on.
And this month's treasurer's report.
All right, so we're at 67% of the year at the end of August. We have collected 67.82% for education fund and 62.7% of our operations fund. Expenditure wise, August had 3 pays. So that's always a hit to us. 3 pays. Payroll's expensive. We also had an issue with the trust for health insurance, for our medical insurance. I had to, so about $200,000 roughly extra to pay out in August for medical insurance that didn't get paid in July due to billing issues. So that's why you see a lot of red on here that you normally wouldn't see. That didn't help. So we have spent 62.2% of our expenditure budget, or 72.1% of the whole revenue budget, and 64.3% of our operations fund in the expenditure budget, or 73.1% in our revenue fund. Yeah, so I think that's all I had. So the charts look a little bit more normal this month too. Most of our expenditures for our HVAC and all of that were in July. We're still getting some larger bills, but I think we're just about done paying all of that too. So yeah.
Any more questions for this month's budget?
No.
Yeah. I don't like these months where we have 3 pays. Like,
I'm gonna
it hurts.
Take the red ink out of your printer.
It hurts. I know. These 3 pay months help or hurt. They're painful.
Okay, we'll just jump. I don't have anything to report on, so we'll move to unfinished business. A donation of coaching stipend.
We have Jameson on there is talking about this, but basically,
sorry. I was like, what?
I was somewhere, sorry.
Yeah. I was like,
So, I don't know. Are you talking about?
you go ahead.
Okay, basically, Derek donates his coaching stipend for coaching girls soccer, and Ryan Yoder would like to donate his stipend for coaching tennis. So we need a approval of those donations.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Now, will these funds, do we know exactly where these stipends go? Do they go into the athletic?
They're supposed to. Yeah, that's. But I think yeah, trying to work that out.
They go into the
The athletic fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Abstain? Motion carries. New business, item 1.
Item 1 is not actually anything that you have to approve, but we do have to give the public a chance to chime in as we start our collective bargaining. So collective bargaining by law can start on September 15th. So we are announcing that we plan to begin that shortly thereafter. I believe the 17th is our first meeting for that.
Yeah.
And I think that you had some public input.
Go ahead.
Sherry Severson, biomedical science teacher at Lakeland Junior Senior High School and co-president of the Lakeland Education Association.
And I'm Garrett Chrisman, other co-president of the LEA. I teach social studies at a junior senior high. And I am starting up. First of all, we take great pride in being public school teachers here at Lakeland. This is Sherry's 39th year and my 6th.
Lakeland offers many great initiatives. I'm very proud to be a Laker. We offer a ton of programs for students. We are fortunate to have the staff to help students complete potentially amazing 22 different graduation pathways. 10 of those we have in-house, 12 we offer through Impact, and we have a new one that we're going to be adding in next year with manufacturing, thanks to that amazing grant that we received.
We are the exclusive representatives of our bargaining unit. We're very proud to say that we have 85 certified staff members. That's 80% of certified staff, plus 8 essential school personnel and 4 members within the co-op amongst our membership. The LEA does a lot for our membership, including information sharing from the ISDA, serving as liaisons for staff and providing helpful advice as educators, as well as negotiations work.
We work well with administrators. I know I made mention a long time ago that Jason was not allowed to leave his position before I leave mine, because he's an amazing administrator to work with. Sometimes we professionally agree to disagree. That happens with the hat that we wear. Occasionally, paper covers rock. That's the way it works. We all know that the state of Indiana makes this profession, as well as running a public school, often very difficult.
Now, while September 15th represents the official start of bargaining season, we've already been hard at work planning out and prepping for negotiations, setting our meetings, and also including taking a look at area collective bargaining agreements amongst other school districts, initiatives we like, areas we can improve, other considerations on our own CDA, multiple communications and idea sharing as a team with Dr. Blaze, as well as our own UNICEF rep, Anita Vernon. And our negotiations team also sends correspondence back and forth. We've recently sent 3 fairly lengthy emails to the school board and Dr. Blaze as of last spring, outlining our thoughts on being proactive due to the financial impact of SB1 on our public schools.
Some positives from the state. They are increasing starting teaching salaries to $45,000, which is a good thing. They are increasing the amount of tuition money based on our ADM that can be used towards our salaries, moving us up from 62% to 65%. Is the state providing additional money for us to do that? Of course not. No.
Just do it.
We have absorbed, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have absorbed 7 teaching positions, 7 certified staff positions based on our comparison of who was in what position last year and who are in those positions this year. We have 4 teachers who are traveling between buildings. We have 2 certified staff that moved into Title I positions funded by Title I funding. So on behalf of the LEA, we look forward to negotiating next week, putting our heads together with Dr. Blaze and Jameson and Brett and Rob and checking out the numbers. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would add that, we're looking at sustainability as far as when you're negotiating from our side of the table is we have to give increases that we can sustain in the future, knowing that things are not going to look better for a while as far as the money that we get from the state. I would also add, even though they're just now moving up that percentage to 65% of the ed fund. We spent 71% of our ed fund on salaries last year, so we're already ahead of the game on that. Sherry uses the word absorbed. I kind of go back and forth. I understand where she's coming from with that, but we're also in the process of making sure that we're right-sized. As our student population decreases, we can't continue to maintain the same number of teachers. It just doesn't make financial sense, so just those things I wanted to point out.
Thank you. Thank
See
you
you
very much.
Wednesday.
We don't need to, do any voting here, so
Sorry.
we'll, move on to, item 2. This is first reading of the all employee handbook.
This is all our legal documentation, so I just update it every year. There is one addition, and that is a notice to preserve documents, electronic information, and other information. And this is relative to our ongoing litigation against
It has to do with
Facebook
the
and social media.
lawsuit that we won last year.
So I wanted to make sure we have to present that notification to our employees. What better way than something they signed for? So that's the only addition to the handbook, and other than legal
Yep.
correcting, updating.
Okay. Is, all right, are we good with first reading?
I'll make a motion to waive the second reading and approve the first reading.
We have a motion and a second to
Who's the second?
Sue,
Good.
to waive second reading and approve. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Now, the classified handbook, first reading.
Okay, so we have made some changes to our bases. We also made some additional holidays trying to help with the classified compensation, getting a little bit more competitive with, we're having issues filling positions that are sitting there for a long time. So we're trying to be a little bit more competitive. I don't know if Tracy wants to speak about the change into the salaries or not with this.
Sure. We are looking at an increase of $1 per hour for all of the departments other than transportation. When we looked at our transportation pay, we're actually right in line with those around us. So they would be getting a 25-cent increase per hour. And then we are also going to address an issue that they've had for a couple of years now, that they did not like how we figured their ECA pay. In the past, we did $15 an hour for the whole range of time that they were on the ECA trip. What we are doing is changing that so that for the time they are driving, they will be paid the driver pay. And then there's kind of a seat pay during the time that they're at the event waiting on their next time to drive. So that will also result in an increase for them as far as ECA pay goes. And then we would also be giving all people 2 more paid holidays within the classified staff. So,
Well, 12 month and 10 month.
yes.
I attached all the handbook, and it had all this whole yellow highlighted on what we changed. And that's,
Okay. Is there any questions? Okay. Does the board have any considerations?
I would make a motion to waive the second reading and approve the first reading of the classified handbook.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion about waiving second reading? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, we are moving to 4. This is an employment, where you're gonna do an employment and then a transfer right away.
Yes, we are.
so Madison Bateman, sorry. Well, sometimes you take it, sometimes I don't. It's I put my name on it because it comes from HR. I'm presenting the documentation. So we are actually employing Madison for like 1 day as a substitute teacher.
She is now going to be transferred to the attendance secretary at the junior senior high. Did you want to make any statements on that, Mr. Shacko? Or are you good?
Super excited. She did so great at subbing that day. We wanted to get her in there more permanently. She's been fortunate enough. We had her shadowing this week too, and is already doing a great job for us. And as best as we can get to not missing a beat with Wanda resigning, it's going to be very good. I think she's going to be a great addition to the front, pending your approval.
We have to do the first one first.
Right. She did do very well at that. Just to remind you.
Caught that
Didn't lose any kids. Did great. Education moved forward when she was son.
As I always like to point out, she is a Lakeland grad, so it's fun to hire our Lakeland grads.
Entertain a motion to approve the employment of the substitute.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, and one abstain. And then, entertain a motion for the transfer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, and one abstain. Motion carries. All right, we are gonna go to 5.
Oh, thank you for oh, I don't have to yet. Never mind.
Not yet.
I got it all on one this time.
This is employments as well, A through
Aye.
I.
So a couple of highlights that I would like to show to you in the employment section is Rebecca Govan. Rebecca is a recent graduate, and she was a graduate of our Ed Professionals program, so we're very excited to have her going to work at the primary school as a paraprofessional. Also highlight Sean Miller. She had a long career with Lakeland and left us for a while, but is coming back to her roots in the cafeteria as a food service substitute. And also Nathaniel Plew. He is coming on as a substitute school nurse. He is the son of Teresa Plew, and he's working on his nurse practitioner's degree. So I think they will be great additions.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 5.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, Kara second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor. Motion carries. Awesome. 6 are transfers.
So the only item I would highlight there is we have a early intervention preschool located at Wookett Mills that is a special ed cooperative program. They found that we had one too many paras in the program for the number of students that are there right now. So we are transferring Samantha Zent to an open position at the primary school.
Entertain a motion for 6 transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Shelley with the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, motion carries. We're gonna move to 7. This is volunteer coaches.
Nothing really to highlight there other than just letting you know that volunteer coaches do go through background checks and board approval like the rest of our coaches have to do.
Entertain a motion to approve 7.
I'm voting already.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor,
There we go.
motion carries. 8 is a retirement.
Number 8. So Mr.
Oh,
Albaugh
we skipped
for several years has said he is going to retire, and then he comes in and says, "Whoa, maybe one more year." This year he has decided that he is making it official, and he has submitted his letter for retirement at the end of this year.
I did not make a motion.
Entertain the motion. To approve.
Second.
A motion and a second, is there any discussion?
We've been talking about this for quite a while. So have we, in that 4 years, been kind of digging or trying or find something or someone or?
That program's been growing.
Oh,
It
it's
has
huge.
been growing, so yes, we do want to keep it going, and we will be looking for a lead teacher for that program with a business background so that we can continue the business pathway. That allows students to be able to graduate from the Cyber Academy.
All right. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Motion carries.
Nope.
And I have a 1 no, okay? Sorry.
Just wanna go on the record.
I will let him know you
Thank you.
protested on his behalf.
Throw the curveball at me, Rob.
Sorry.
We have, some resignations, 9 to go over.
Yes, so, Mrs. Conway, longtime choir teacher, choir and vocal teacher. She has been with Lakeland for a very long time,
29 years.
9 years. She has done grades 6 through 12 during her tenure, and she has decided to go on to different adventures, so we wish her the best of luck there. We also are wishing Wanda Lou the best of luck, so we're very sad to see her go, but she's been offered a great position, and this seemed like a good time for her to make that transition in her life. So wish her well.
Entertain a motion for 9.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
Yes, what is our plan for specifically fire, but also for the fine arts pathway in general, in light of her resignation?
Do you wanna talk about
Sure.
what we've done?
So, for the time being, Lizzie Brumball, who's currently teaching band for us right now, has, with some moving and rearranging, some space at the end of her schedule. So right now, what we're going to do is move 7 through 12 into one choir, which will put 16 kids in there together in order to still have performances, still be able to put the choir out into the public so we can still recruit into that program. So the idea is to, in order for it to fit into one person's schedule, making it one singular choir for this year, and then looking at, as we get into scheduling for next year, do we need to move this back into separate choirs? Talking with Lainey also about it, she's like, it's hard to put somebody who hasn't had any vocal training at all in with somebody who's been in it for 6 years. You know, it's just difficult to teach that, no matter how you want to differentiate your instruction or anything like that. So if it fits better as a 2-period class with younger voices, older voices, this is something we're going to look at as we get into scheduling. But if that works, then we'll look at how we, if we keep that in one position, look at how we do the band side of the schedule. Because right now we have like band and then percussion, which is all part of the same thing, but they're separate classes. Then we have a guitar class as well. So we could look at pulling back on some of the other things we offer within band. We could put the percussion with the band again, and that gives us another class. Or we could not offer guitar, which gives us another section to teach it if we had it taught by the same person. So realistically right now, there's not so much interest that we can fill a whole choir schedule right now. But I don't want to just pull it back and say we just don't have a choir. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that serves our kids very well. So the plan is right now to handle it through one person as we finish out the year, and then see what we need going forward.
So we will be looking, hopefully, to fill that with another person.
I'm hoping. I mean, but if it's only 16 kids, that's a lot of a person to put
On a full-time.
on a full-time schedule. That's something we got to look at with what we can recruit yet, even this year, and kind of going forward what we can find.
Recruit meaning students. Recruit.
Correct. As in people that are in our building. Not, I mean, I'd love to pull people from other buildings too, but people that are maybe just not going out for right now, have some choir interest, but aren't putting it in their schedule or stuff like that.
Sure.
But we still have enough within the pathway to offer a fine arts pathway. It won't look exactly like it looks right now. You'll have to go more of the visual arts and instrumental arts to get it done.
Thank you for that, all the information.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion?
I would be negligent if I didn't speak up here and say that, again, I mean, I've mentioned this multiple times during board meetings, how disappointed I am that any teacher, not just Delaney, not just picking on her, but any teacher that resigns after school has started. There's just, there's no room for that.
I'll also agree with that too.
And I second that and I vote on that.
Okay, any further? Did I give it, I had
Yes.
a motion second.
Lost track.
Yeah, all in favor? Motion does carry. All right, we will go to 10, the consent agenda.
On the consent agenda, I just would like to point out the elimination of the Title I coordinator stipends. When we we restructured for title last year. As the funding continues to decline, we couldn't support all of the stipends and salaries that we had in there. So only the amount of the stipends can be bargained, not whether or not we have them. So that's why this isn't something that's going to the negotiations table. It's something that we can do. I also wanted to do a public shout out to Farmers State Bank for their donation to the Lakekand locker at the junior senior high. The money that they have donated will be used to purchase hygiene and other supplies that students need there. And then Louis Velasco, he showed up on Friday and had an iPad he wanted to donate to us. So the story is, I guess it was sent to him by mistake, and the company that he got it from didn't want him to return it. So he has brought us a brand new, never used iPad. So I have talked with Sam about what we can do with this, as we're moving away from iPads in our district. So it is going to go to one of the buildings to be a student giveaway. Haven't decided which building yet, so arm wrestle for it.
That was very kind.
Yes.
Covered rock.
Could have very easily just gotten Entertain a motion to approve 10.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion does carry. That moves us to public comments. Persons wishing to make the board aware of suggestions, ideas, and/or comments may address the board at this time. Comments which involve personnel or students must be discussed in private. Go ahead, Kelly.
I was just wondering, so Lakeland still owns Lima Brighton?
Yes.
Currently, yes.
Okay, who's in there right now then?
Nobody.
There's people in there daily. So I was just wondering like what's going on there.
Well, they've been, like,
We're
you've
doing a
taken some
program.
people in there to look at
Yeah.
some stuff, and
We still have building checks that
We
need
still
to
do
be done.
building checks, but we don't.
we do a building check every morning there.
Yeah.
Maintenance
But
does
there's no
that.
programs going on there.
Well, I would have thought that there was. There's a lot of cars there throughout the day that makes me think
Really?
otherwise. And also, why aren't we maintaining that building and the grounds there still? Like the weeds are outgrowing everything, and it looks like vacant or abandoned. But there is a lot of traffic in and out of there throughout the days, and nothing's being upkept. So I was just wondering.
I
They were going out and mowing. I don't know that they've done their weed eating, so I can check into that.
I would have thought that it already sold. Like
Well, it was
based
so-
on what I
We
see.
thought it would by now.
That's part of the issue, because we thought the closing would have happened by now, but there's been some bank issues and stuff that they needed documentation and different things, so we're hoping that it will be transferred soon.
Okay. And then I had a personal question about the property over there. I can just ask you after.
Yep.
With me. And then has the issue with the cockroaches at the high school been addressed?
I'll let
Absolutely.
you talk about
That was in my notes that went out to families. We had a 2.5-hour visit with the health department. We've gotten letters from the state entomologist that visited us and our local health person saying that all the right things are being done and that they don't see an issue. There were no live bugs, or I think they found one dead bug in a custodial closet when they did their visit. We've also talked to 2 different exterminators. We have increased the amount of time and done a map overlay of the building to direct Ace Pest Control on where we want them to do the high treatment areas. So
Yeah, I've had students tell me that they're in the locker rooms pretty bad. We'll see them generally often, as well as, could that be an issue with the plumbing for the school? Like, are they in our sewer lines and that kind of stuff?
That's exactly where the problem is. So, one of the things that we have to look at doing is replacing our sewer lines that go from the building to the city's water, or city sewer line. So that's one of the projects that we have.
And so would that be on the school or the city?
It's on the school.
Okay. And this has been an ongoing problem for several years, correct?
Yeah, what happened was at one point in time, a maintenance person told me that that it was a city sewer problem, not our sewer lines. And so that was the information that we were working on, and when we found out it was not, then we've taken as much care of it as we can at this point.
We've also found that there's a lot of abandoned sewer lines that have drains that have been covered up, maybe by carpet or shelving and different things, and we have been treating them as well now, so trying to do everything we can to make sure, but yeah, I mean, when someone says it's been going on for a long time, I mean, any large building will have built insects that come up their sewer lines from time to time. But I don't know the extent of it, but
I remember when I was a kid in high school, we had them in the locker room. We actually at Goshen, we had a mice problem.
but we I'm sorry.
Oh, we were just talking about our, like, things like growing up. My other question, sorry, were you done talking about that?
Nope, go ahead.
My other question was just how, can you update us with how the preschool and the primary school is doing, like how's it going?
Kim, would you like to talk about how
Sure.
it's
We've
going
had
at
a
the
great-
primary?
We've had a great start, welcoming the, former Lima Brighton, preschool in. We had a new teacher, Lydia Stevens, and then we had, a sped paraprofessional that was at, the primary that transferred into the preschool. That's been going great, and the primary school's off to a great start.
No major issues.
I think that's all my questions.
Okay. Thank you. Board member comments? I want to thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. Seeing members of the community here, I really do appreciate you guys coming. So thank you for the questions and thanks for coming. October 8th, here at 6:30 is our next meeting. October 8th, 6:30. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Motion carries.
What do I need to sign there?
Yeah, so. Make sure you guys sign everything for you.
Oh, whoopsie, I ended up